What is wrong with you?
Chip, I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew.
That's right, Chip. I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew because you want to know what the draft is coming around the corner. When she comes, we're going to be... Wait a minute.
That's what she said.
Oh, we got the big draft party or draft show. Our only mock draft coming up on Sunday, Orthodox Easter, April 24th, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be there. Got a lot of people coming in. A lot of people dropping by. If you want to participate, email me at tim@onlineBigBlue.com. That's tim@onlineBigBlue.com. We got a couple spots open still. Well, really, we don't. But I like the more the merrier. I want to talk about Ahmad Gardner. I want to talk about the sauce. I want to talk about why the Giants should not fall for the hype. Why the Giants should not get lost in the sauce. I've used that term about 1 million times. I've used that term. That's actually not a term of my own. That's a term from a coach that one of my linebacker coaches years ago told me. And basically it just means I was getting lost in the pile. I was getting out of position and he used to always say, Tim, you're getting lost in the sauce, which means I'm just kind of in the mix. And I'm just not where I'm supposed to be. And that's what I don't want the Giants to be with Ahmad Gardner. I'm not saying he's not going to be a good player. I'm not saying that he is not going to set the league on fire. I just think for the wink system and what the Giants want to do, the sauce is not the way to go. Most people don't remember that this kid was 160 pounds coming out of high school. He was overlooked by most of the top 10 schools. So, he ended up where he did. He ended up in Cincinnati. And he's made himself into a player. He has made himself into who he is. He's made himself into the sauce. And this is what worries me about the Giants. I've said it before. It kind of has a DeAndre Baker and an Eli Apple smell to it. And I spoke to someone who I trust, and I spoke to someone who was a former scout for 33 plus years in the NFL. And I asked him about Sauce. And he says that Stingley is a better prospect, of course, overlooking the injuries. He's only played 10 games in 2 seasons. But he's got a lot of hesitation picking a player such as the Sauce. And I asked him why. We talked about it briefly. And he said it right off the bat. He's a better zone cover guy. He's not going to be a man-to-man. It's not that he can't play man-to-man, but he is a guy that he's more fluid in the zone coverage. And he said right off the bat, I don't know if he's going to be a starter day 1. He may be a fill-in and then turn into a starter in day 2. But he thinks, like I said, he could be a player, but he's got flags. And he said it 1 million times, and I agree with him, that Gardner's more, like I said, a zone-heavy scheme. Now, he's not unreliable in man-to-man coverage, because he's got the length, he's got the speed, which are some of his notable assets. I love this because I've heard this multitudes of times. He has a tendency, and you've seen it in college, to be extremely grabby. And that, to me, it's him not trusting his athletic ability or having confidence in man-to-man coverage. He gets it. I said this about Eli Apple when Eli Apple came out from the Giants to Ohio State. I said he's too handsy. He's too grabby. He's probably been playing with his hands since Pop Warner, and he's never gotten away with it. He's too touchy. He also has a tendency to give and offer too much of a cushion, where he's often trailing the play, and he sometimes gets baited into throws on his side because of the fact that he's offering too much of a cushion. Now, I'm not saying, like I said, he cannot hold up in man-to-man coverage. I'm just saying that that is something that's going to need to be worked on from day 1. You can't put your hands on the wide receiver in this league. You're going to get called for holding all the time. And that's what happened with Eli Apple. Eli Apple was frustrating to the fact that he had all the talent in the world, but he couldn't understand the fact that you can't put your hands on the receiver. That's why Gardner thrives in the zone coverage. And he reads it well. And he works himself well into the throwing lanes. You could tell he feels so much stronger about zone coverage and squeezing the routes than he does when he's playing one-on-one. And honestly, his size and length is a major, major, major asset when you're in zone coverage. He just needs to trust himself, and I think he does. He does trust himself more and more. Now, in reference to going after the ball, you would think that he would have more interceptions. You would think that. But, again, that's something that you need to be comfortable with when you're going after the ball. But he has the athletic ability. He does have the tendency to bait quarterbacks into throws, which is great, which is what you want to see. But like I said, I would like to see him turn the ball. I would like to see him turn the ball more, get more turnovers. Now, one of the things also I have an issue with, and so was my friend who is, like I said, is a former scout, says that he was exposed a little bit last year in 2021 with his tackling. That he was a better tackler in 2020, but he kind of regressed a little in 2021. He said that he has the ability and the mindset to be an aggressive tackler, which he was in 2020. But he had a tendency to more drag down ball carriers and actually or try to latch on and drag them down. That he does actually becoming a consistent tackler. Lead with shoulder, wrap with your arms, drive with your legs. And there's a lot of consistency issues in regards to his tackling as well. Now, if you look at his versatility, and this is where I also get concerned, or this is where if you could put the injuries aside and go away from the injuries and look at Stingley. I still have Stingley ranked 3 on my big board in reference to talent because Stingley has more versatility than Gardner. Gardner, to me, like I said, he's going to be an outside corner and a zone-heavy defense. He's going to look more appealing in a 3-3-5 look. And even potentially moving into the slot. And like I said, he's a sound run defender, but he's going to be better off in a 3-3-5 and a zone-heavy scheme. And I think that's going to limit his versatility. Now, if you want to talk about his toughness, though, and him being a competitor, he's got all the attributes. He's a fiery guy. I like that about him. He's a fiery guy. But again, he doesn't, in my mind, if you watch the film, he does not secure defenders well in the run. He's over aggressive with his hands. That's going to limit him his ability in press coverage. And he's going to get caught when he's trying to use his hands to create jams or create separations. He's going to get caught. Now, if you want to look just at his pure ability, he's got excellent speed. He's got excellent size. I'd like to see him bulk up at least another 5-10 pounds, if not more. Get around 200, 205, especially on that frame. The frame, they say he's 6'3". I think he's probably more like 6'2.5", if even that. But he says that. His penalty, now, if you want to look at some good things, like I said, he needs, I love it because every scouting report I see I'm looking at all these different scouting reports, needs to eliminate his grabby tendencies in coverage. Now, his penalties did drop from 2020 to 2021, which is an encouraging sign. But like I said, it's one of those things that you need to look at the value. You need to look at what the system we are going to be running is going to be. You're going to be running an attacking style defense, which is going to put some people out on an island. Now, the question is, do you want the Eli Apple hands effect out on that island? I don't. I get worried about that. But like I said, if you take a look solely at his athletic ability and you take it solely at his length and his size and his stride, he's got the measurables. And it with his physical attributes, it increases his margin for error in coverage. But the problem is, he can't do what he does. He can't do what he did at Cincinnati. You cannot put your hands on the wide receiver. It's funny because he reminds me a lot of, what's his name? Rogers Cromartie. He really does. He reminds me a lot. Of course, I think he went, where did he go? He went, he was in 2008 to the Cardinals. That's who, if I want to put a comparison, he does remind me of that. But Cromartie was not as handsy as this kid is, and that's good. I'm telling you right now, that is going to be a problem if he does not break that habit there is going to be a lot of penalties on that end. Now, like I said, if it's myself, I've said this before, if you can overlook the injuries in the 10 games over the last 2 years and look what he did as a freshman when he was 19 years old at LSU, Stingley Jr. to me is the better fit. But I don't want the Giants. And this is what worries me about the Giants. This is what worries me about this draft. There's two, in the top 10, there are two if players. If this player does this right, if this player can figure out how to do this, if this player can change positions, if this player can not play with his hands, that's Charles Cross and Ahmad Gardner. And I'm worried that the Giants are going to go Cross Gardner. I love the fact that we have our old buddy Shane come out and said, I got to do this right. I want to hit this out of the park. I want to get this done right. And we all hope to God he does get it right. But I think also he needs to, he's said it a million times. You have to look at what's on the field in front of you. You have to look for the best talent, not maybe positionally, but just the best talent on the board. And I'm going to tell you right now, at 5 and 7, I don't see that being Charles Cross or Ahmad Gardner. I know I'm probably going to be in the majority and get blasted for it, but I don't care. I speak the truth. Don't forget, we got the big stream Sunday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to be involved in this mock draft, it's my one and only mock draft. Just shoot me an email, tim@onlineBigBlue.com, tim@onlineBigBlue.com. We're going to have a lot of fun. Maybe do some prizes, give away some t-shirts, give away some rings. I haven't decided yet. We'll figure it out. But if you do want to join, like I said, give us a shout. And again, this is Tim with Online Big Blue. We'll bring you the best in New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. And as always, if you could like, maybe subscribe, if you ring that bell, you know what it means. That'd be awesome.